So the Tech Student Leadership Collaborative is kind of a culmination of a bunch of different students' ideas as well as administration, and trying to figure out a way to get student voice to be heard here at Tech. It started with ideas over the past couple of years from our student leadership groups, from NHS and then from Student Council, and those members coming together saying, how can we build a link between these groups and reach out and really get a taste of what Tech is all about, and getting this group of students of roughly 30 to 35 students together to just have a conversation. And so you had a lot of great ideas coming from a lot of different groups, and students who don't always voice up finally had a chance. Those strongholds of pride, respect, and responsibility, those are what make Tech Tech. We asked students to come up with ideas or ways that we could let students know what needs to be done. Wearing a mask, or keeping your 6-foot distance. The students brought up the idea of doing the videos themselves. They're used to hearing everything from admin and from their teachers, but they need to hear it from peers. You know, those students are doing it, then we should do it so that we can all stay in session. The students really follow our Instagrams and our social media to get the word out. So we've talked about ways of supporting each other. So We Act and NHS got together and they did the We Scare for Hunger in the holidays, and so one of the things that we did was all of our different groups pushed out about the information. So it's just the idea of just all of us working together to support each of the groups, and that we're trying to get our students to stay connected and feel a part of the Tech community.
This is the 6th year of the Tiger Build. It mostly started with a retired teacher now, Bill Garceau, and he had a big passion for construction. He was the big push to all of it. The Tech Tiger Build begins with just steel I-beams sitting on the ground, and then Simonson will bring the floor truss load, and so we just set every single floor truss and then laid the floor. St. Cloud Technical Community College brings in their electricians and their plumbers. So those instructors bring their students, and then they do spend at least an hour with us. They kind of talk about what their program does. Most of them are 2-year programs, so they're getting our tech students thinking about, you know, that 2-year technical career path or college path. H&S, Heating and Air, they come in, they give us a temporary heater so we can work in the cold, and then Habitat for Humanity is a great promoter for this program. They're great to work with as well. The students that are in the year-long course, they get every single skill that a house would require. And I always tell them, hopefully you're going to own a home someday, and just the skills that you're getting here are going to save you a ton of money just by being able to do a couple things to your own house. I do believe there's a need for working with your hands. If you enjoy working with your hands, you've got a great career ahead of you, and the sky is the limit for anyone that just wants to work.
So BAR is an acronym for Building Assets and Reducing Risks. All in all, it's really just like having a team of teachers and administrators that work with a cohort of 9th graders. It was developed because a guidance counselor was noticing that there's a direct correlation between freshman failures and graduation rates. Huge area of opportunity. Each student gets some time to be talked about. We recognize their strengths, social emotional skills, school skills, what's going on in their lives, like anything we can do to just raise them at least a little bit. That's BAR in a nutshell. Some of the ways we recognize students, anything from like praise to calling and emailing and sending postcards home. We keep track of how many of those we do, so we make sure every student can at least get recognized at least a little bit. If I hear that something was amazing and we know that that student really likes Miss Boker, then I'm the one to make sure that I'm the one saying, hey, I heard what you did, we talked about you. And that seems to be one of our biggest things right now that's working. I'm teaching a student that I actually had. This student really struggled, and I was actually able to be like, hey, we were just talking about you. And like immediately it was like I had that kid hooked right back in. I saw the growth in this student that I don't typically see because of the work that we were able to put into this student. So BAR has changed the community in 2 ways. The students in the BAR program are engaged with each other. They're out of their shell more, they're talking to friends more, I'm seeing more collaboration. Teachers are talking to each other across content areas, and we're catching things. And then when we catch it, we can fix it, and we have the team to do that. The biggest thing for me is the fact that every student's getting recognized at every grade level. Every student deserves that time, and they still need that validation, and they still need someone can really benefit them or at least make them feel special.
742, be the difference.
742, be the difference.
742, be the difference.